Good evening, everybody. Welcome to your Thursday evening Facebook Live. My name is Sarah Edwards. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I come to you guys live every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 to show you a fun new project. Whew! One of these days, I will try to figure out how to shorten that or be able to take a breath in between. But good evening, everybody. Hopefully you guys have had a good day. Last night I got home from work and my husband and I decided to watch a little bit of TV. Well, we didn't realize it was 11:30 before we really looked up at the clock and had gotten through like 3 episodes of our show. We got through one tonight at dinner, so we have one left of our season. So then we'll be off to a new season or a new something or another. So if you guys are watching anything fun on any of the stations, let me know because we are in need of a new show. But anyway, last night we didn't get to bed till after 11:30 and we slept in this morning. So I got a little late start out in the studio today. But I put on my big girl pajamas. I changed out of my nighttime pajamas, put on my daytime pajamas, and got cracking, got busy. I got all of card class prepped and ready to go. So the table is all set and pretty. Really is only all set and pretty if there's a card class. Otherwise, it's a hot mess. I'm sure everybody else's is like that as well. Good evening, everybody. Hello, Lisa, Valerie, Stephanie, Joan. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. So we are going to be focusing on 2 Sale-A-Bration stamp sets today. The first one, I honestly didn't think I would like it in the Sale-A-Bration catalog, and that happens a lot. Like you see something, you're like, yeah, that's not really me, and then you see all of these amazing things with it, and you're like, oh yeah, I have to have that. So that's what we're playing with tonight. I'm super excited to show you. It was actually a card class that we did 2 weeks ago, very similar to it. I changed it up just a tad, but I'm excited to show you guys. Hello, Tina, Anna, Lisa, welcome. Okay, so I'm going to point you over because we have a little bit to get through today. So let me bring in the stamp set. So this is Beautifully Happy and Sending Support. So these are 2 stamp sets out of the Sale-A-Bration catalog. So on page 13 of your catalog, you can see the Beautifully Happy. It's free with a $100 order. And then Sending Support is free with a $50 order. So those are the 2 that I am going to focus on tonight. But then I decided to bring in the Fabulous Frames sets. So we are going to be using this and these little hidden gems. I literally overlooked these. I've had this set for a while, but I've overlooked these little guys and they are magnificent. So we're going to play with those 2. So I'm going to pull those out. And then on page 31 of your mini catalog, it's the Cane Weave 3D embossing folder. I decided to bring that in to do with the card as well. So those are all of the fun pieces. I think there was one more thing I wanted to bring in, but I'm not 100% sure where it's at. So we will just continue. I'm just going to see if we are live. And I think we are. There we go. Okay, so we are up and running. So here is the card that we did in 2 weeks ago, Saturday's card class. So this is Sending Love, Thoughts, and Prayers. We always need these and we don't always want to make them when we need them. So it's always a good idea to have a few of these on hand. And then I changed up the color scheme a little bit and made it into a happy birthday card. So literally possibilities are endless. Whatever sentiment that you're needing at the moment would definitely work with this card. So I'm going to show you how to prep this one, but we will put both of them together. I have a couple extras, so I thought we'd put them all together. Okay, so you will need your embossing machine. Let me get these little guys out of the way. And one of these days, I will get new plates, I promise. I keep saying that. And I do have them. I just keep forgetting to grab them. So I have a piece of, this is Highland Heather. And there is really, it's a scrap. You can kind of tell here at the bottom that it is torn there. And it's just a scrap piece. So what we're going to do is we're going to first run this through. And I might be able to squeeze in the little, I just chopped a piece of the gorgeous grape. We might be able to squeeze both of these in at the same time. I think we can. So I'm going to place those and make sure it's sandwiched together. And if your embossing machine makes noises, cracking noises as you're cutting, it is totally okay. It literally would freak out my brother-in-law when he was cutting these. He's like, did I break it? I'm like, nope, you didn't. Just means it's doing its job. So let's bring all of these pieces over. And wouldn't you know, only on a Facebook Live, I ran this through twice and the die moved. So let me just run that again. If your die moves, it will kind of make a mess of it. And that's exactly what happens. I'm just going to do it on the floor really quick since that's where I put the embossing machine. And you saw me do it once. So this little guy, I would definitely run on its own. Don't try to combine them because it makes a mess. There we go. Voila, all set. So this guy literally just fell out. It popped out super easy. For the sympathy card that we're doing, I did it in the white. Let me bring it in to show you. So I did it in our basic white, and we will keep this piece to use on that one. I did go ahead and pre-cut another white one just so I wouldn't have to do it twice for you. You could do your stamping on this if you wanted to because we are using some gorgeous grape, but I really liked having the basic white underneath it. So let's get designing. So I'm going to bring in my mementos, and I did put the larger flower image on one of our larger blocks. It's just a little bit easier to work with. But when you do have a larger image, I like to take my mementos and do it upside down. I think you get a little bit better coverage versus setting your ink pad down and dabbing it like this. I mean, it works, but I like doing it the other way. So now that that is all inked up, I'm just going to stamp this in the center. And while that, you don't really have to press it or hold it. I just wanted to see if anybody else logged on so I could say hi. Hello, Bev. Hello, Mary. So there's that. Let me put the lid on this. Let me bring in the gorgeous grape first. Now this two-step stamping is literally phenomenal. If you haven't done it, I would definitely suggest this set is perfect for it. So I'm going to ink up the flowers in the gorgeous grape, and I'm going to hover over the image. Now it is a little bit difficult for me to see this because my camera is right in front. But as you can see, I'm just going to try to line this up and then set it down. It's really not hard. It's just hard because I'm trying to stand on my tippy toes over my camera. And, oh, that actually wasn't too tragic doing it that way. Okay, so there's that flower. I'm going to set that ink to the side, bring in the Highland Heather. This one everybody struggled with at card class, and I think this one was the easiest for me because this little flower right here on the edge is going to go right to the side. So that's kind of where I lined it up. And that one lined up really nice. I didn't even have to stand on my tippy toes for that one. I am trying to clean my stamps as I go because we're going to use this same set to do the other card. I'm going to bring in my old olive, and now we can do the leaves. I really wish they would do so many more stamps like this. Unless you love coloring, which I don't mind coloring, but I would much rather do this. There we go. I am going to scoot this over. Yes, Darlene, they were super cute. We don't want to make sympathy cards when we need it, so we should always have some on hand. Sorry, I just sprayed some of my stuff because I want to make sure I clean these really well. I don't want to cross-contaminate my colors. Okay, so there we go. Yeah, you don't want to color, Darlene? Yes, nope, I'm kind of right there with you sometimes. So there is the design. That's literally all you have to do. I use two different of our purple inks and then one green for the leaves. So this is the larger image. These are the leaves. This is the inside flower, and this is the little piece up top. So it is so easy to put together. Okay, so let's continue. I have a piece of, this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So this is the same size as your card base. I didn't have anything showing through, so I wanted to be able to focus on the embossing folder, so that's why I did that size. So here's our frame. I'm going to flip that over and grab some mini dimensionals. And I probably am going to go overkill on this. I know my upline Heather always is like, you use so many. I'm like, I love them, and we don't want anything to sag in the middle. So you probably don't need this many, but it's your card. You can put as many as you want. If you want to fill the whole thing up, you can totally do that as well. That one stuck to my fingernail. Okay, so we're going to peel all of the backings off. I always say this is probably the most time-consuming part of putting a card together. Okay, I had to put those in the trash, otherwise they'd be all over my floor. So now I'm just going to lay the frame in the center of my card. That looks pretty good. Now I will give you a little tip. So I actually made this one about 10 minutes before I went live because I wanted to change up the colors a little bit. But I put these little corner pieces on before I put the piece on the inside. Don't do that because it doesn't fit very well. I made it work, but let's glue this in first. I don't know why, literally I get my best ideas 5 minutes before I go live. Oh, let's change the colors up. So now this is going to slide right inside, and now you have your gorgeous frame. And now we can just put our little edges on. You could put glue on the back of it if you wanted to. I thought it was just as easy to put a couple mini glue dots on the back. Actually, just one mini glue dot, and it held it just fine. So load up my dimensionals, and then I can just come in and put them in the corner. Isn't this a hidden gem in this die set? I saw them there, but I didn't know what they were for. And now I do. And it is so pretty. There we go. Last one. And then I can grab my card base. Excuse me. And this is basic white, and it's 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, and I scored it at 4 1/4. So we can fold that, give this a good crease with our bone folder that has vanished. Oh, there it is. It didn't go far. I knew it was here. There we go. And let's glue this down. Yes, Bev, it definitely makes the card pop. It just gives it that extra little pizzazz that it needs, the extra little pop that it needs. There we go. I didn't pre-cut the happy birthday, so I might leave this one blank and use it for something that I might need. It could be a thank you card. It really could be anything. I just want to throw a couple rhinestones on here. There we go. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, isn't it? Literally, I bet you guys thought that was going to be super hard to make, and it isn't. It literally is the dies that does everything. Okay, let's make one of the sending love, thoughts, and support. So again, it's just our thick basic white. It's 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, and I scored it at 4 1/4. So let's bring in our basic white piece. Grab your ink. I literally had my office cleaned up today. Everything was spotless, and now my office is a hot mess again. I was trying to do a couple videos earlier today, and then my computer said it needed to do an update. So I was like, oh, I'll do the update while I have a few minutes. So I didn't wait until the video was done uploading, before I did the update. So I have been trying to fix that for a couple hours. Okay, so this one I'm going to use Pale Papaya. And I just re-inked my Pale Papaya and Soft Succulents, so it's probably going to be pretty bright, which is okay. So I'm going to do this inside first. This one actually lined up a lot nicer because it's a lighter color and I'm able to see through it a little bit better. So I didn't have to stand on my tippy toes. So there's the last one. We're going to do Soft Succulents. Ink this up. And I might have inked these up a little bit too much. I can see a few little bubbles in my ink. But that was my doing. Nothing to do with the ink pad itself. And then I need the Soft Succulent one more time. Put this right up top. There we go. Yeah, it's definitely a lot darker than my original one because I literally just re-inked it. So I think I might have gone a little heavy, but that's okay. What do you do, right? Okay, so let me bring in the frame and grab my mini dimensionals. And definitely you want one in each corner. Thank you, Bev. I appreciate that. And then I'm going to put 2 on the long side. And then 1 in the center up at the top and bottom. Peel them all off. And I'm going to look at my computer to see if any of my YouTube comments are coming up. I don't see any, but now I'm going to pick this up and set it right in the center. There we go. Let's add some adhesive to the back before we glue down the little corner edges. You know what the corner edges remind me of? Do you remember those older scrapbook pages? I'm pretty sure my mom and even my grandma put their photos in their photo albums with those little corner pieces. This is exactly what it reminds me of. I forget what they're called. I know there's a specific name for them. So I'm just going to add these to some mini glue dots. And then put this down. I think the little squares definitely add the extra needed touch to this card, especially with it being tone on tone. There we go. And I didn't put the measurements of the sentiment in the description, and I did that for a reason. So I cut super tiny little slivers of cardstock, and honestly, maybe a little bit more than 1/8 of an inch, just because I didn't want the sentiment to overtake the card. And this guy is pretty tiny to begin with, so I just wanted something super tiny to go on there, and it says sending love, thoughts, and prayers. So I'm just going to put some glue on the back, and I did pre-stamp these just in case I totally messed them up on the live. There we go. Let's grab this. I'm going to flip that over and grab a few more dimensionals. Oh, Mary, they're mounting squares? Okay, good to know. I did not realize that was the name of them. I thought it was something different, but it totally makes sense. Okay, now we can put this on. There we go. And now all we have to do is add a couple rhinestones to it. And I do have the proper take your pick tool. I should use that instead of my fingernail. Sometimes your fingernail is just perfect. It's exactly where it needs to be when you need it. There we go. So there are your cards. This is definitely, oh, I didn't glue it to the card base. These are definitely super quick and easy cards to put together. You can definitely die cut these little frames in mass and the little corner pieces. The nice thing about the corner pieces, let me grab it, is you cut 4 at a time. So either you can do the little swiggles, I don't know what they're called, the little flowers, or they do have plain squares as well. So depending on what card you want, you can cut all 4 at the same time. Sometimes you only get 1 die, so you're going to have to run it 4 times. This is nice because 4 in 1. So there you go. So you can definitely tell that I re-inked my images. I used the same exact colors, so I probably went a little heavy on my re-inking, but that's okay. I will be using a lot of it, I'm sure. And then here are the 2 that are in alternative colors and alternative sentiments. So you can really dress this up. Whatever you need is perfect. Okay, so there is your guys' live. Thank you so much for joining me. I will be back on Tuesday for another Facebook Live at 7. I do have card class on Saturday. I have a couple spots available, so if you would like to join, definitely send me a message and I will get you on the list. If not, I will see everybody on Tuesday. And don't forget the April retreat, the spring retreat. I did put the information in the description before I went live. So if you need anything, please feel free to reach out. If not, I will talk to everybody on Saturday or on Tuesday. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.